Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine. As you all know, we have been discussing chapter 1 of Civics, the Indian Constitution. So far in this chapter, we have discussed that a written set of rules for a country is called a constitution. Then we were discussing about the need, that why do we need a constitution. And in that we had discussed the first 2 points, that first of all we need a constitution because it lays out certain ideas that form the basis of the kind of society that we as citizens aspire to live in. That means a constitution is the reflection of what citizens want in the type of society they want to live in. We also discussed about the struggle of the people of Nepal, that how they struggled and how they changed their 1990 constitution in 2006, and what was the need to change that, because they wanted their constitution to reflect upon the ideals that they have been fighting for, like equality or freedom and all these things, or democracy for that matter. Second point that we discussed was constitution defines the nature of a country's political system. We need a constitution so that no confusion is there. In a constitution there are well defined rules or well defined things that tell what type of political system should be there in a particular country, like whether there will be democracy or dictatorship or monarchy. For example, in Nepal, in the old constitution of Nepal, there was democracy, but monarchy was also there. Ultimate power was with monarch only. But with the new constitution, democracy was established in Nepal and power was given to the democratic government. Let's study further and find out what are the other reasons due to which we need a constitution. Let's take a look at a classroom situation. So in this particular class, there is a boy Suresh. He is the class monitor, but he is a bully. Bully मतलब कि परेशान करता है दूसरों को, टाइप वाला लड़का है. His classmates are not too fond of him, but Mrs. Rao, the class teacher, she has to leave the classroom on some urgent work. She asks Suresh to mind the class. Now, as usual, Suresh starts picking on Anil. Anil, today I am going to report you to Mrs. Rao. Then Anil asks, what have I done? But Suresh goes on, and when Mrs. Rao returns to the class, he says to the class teacher, Ma'am, while you were away, Anil kept talking loudly and disturbing the class. He would not listen to me. कि ना वो जो है झूठ एक इल्ज़ाम उस पे लगा देता है अनिल पे. So what Mrs. Rao does, Anil, you will have to stay back after school today and write, I will not disobey the class monitor 100 times. So अब जो है मिसेस राव सुरेश की बात का यकीन करके अनिल को पनिशमेंट देती हैं दैट ही विल हैव टू स्टे बैक आफ्टर स्कूल एंड विल हैव टू राइट 100 times that he will not disobey the class monitor. To which Anil replies, but ma'am, I did not do anything. So this is one situation in which the person who is having power, the class monitor, he has power because obviously he has been made the class monitor. So he is misusing his power and he is misusing his authority, and he is just bullying others with the misuse of his power. So this was one example of misuse of power. Another example is, as the games period began, the students were arguing that about which game they wanted to play. One group was saying that they will play cricket, and another group was saying that they wanted to play basketball because they wanted change, because usually it was the cricket only that used to be played. So what teacher decides to settle the problem with a show of hands, के जो है अपने आप जो भी जिसकी side है वो अपने hand को वो कीजिए, raise कीजिए, and then the majority will win. So because boys were in the favor of playing cricket and there were more number of boys in the class, so they won that type of voting situation. So obviously it made the girls upset, and they were saying we always have to do what the boys want because they are in a majority. So here the majority is taking advantage of their numbers and they are imposing their will on the minority, that is girls who are in lesser number in the class. So the girls, they were talking among themselves that ma'am should think of another way to make decisions so that our wishes are also heard, because even if they are in minority, that doesn't mean that they do not have any wish or their wishes should not be heard. ऐसा तो नहीं होना चाहिए कि अगर किसी की कोई कम नंबर में है किसी क्लास में या किसी ग्रुप में तो उसकी बात सुने ही ना. ऐसा तो नहीं होना चाहिए, वो भी तो उसी ग्रुप का मेंबर है तो उसकी बात भी तो सुनना ज़रूरी है. सो दीज आर द टू क्लासमेट सिचुएशन. सो हियर in the one case the person who was having power, he misused his authority by misreporting to the class teacher, and in another situation the majority took advantage of their larger numbers in playing the game, in playing their choice of game. So I hope you got an idea what the book writer is trying to tell you here. So in the first situation, Suresh, who was the class monitor and he was having the power as class monitor, he misused his authority against an innocent boy, Anil. So here the need for constitution arises. Why? Because same thing might happen in the society as well. Because in whether even if it is a democratic society, ultimately the power is in the hands of politicians or political leaders. So there are chances that they might misuse their powers against the common citizens of the country. So constitution provides us the safeguard against the powerful authority. यानी constitution हमें एक safeguard provide करता है इन powerful authority के against. क्यों है उस सेफ गार्ड की ज़रूरत? इसीलिए है सो दैट पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स मस्ट नॉट मिसयूज देयर अथॉरिटी. For example, Indian Constitution has provided Indian citizens with some fundamental rights. For example, we have the right to equality and right against discrimination. So these rights they guarantee us that we have the right to equality and no person can be discriminated on grounds of religion, race, caste, gender or on place of birth. यानी कि किसी भी बेसिस पे कोई भी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होगा किसी के साथ. So this is how Constitution provides a safeguard against the misuse of authority. Now in another situation we saw that the majority group wanted to dominate the minority, and resultantly the girls who were in minority they were forced to play cricket even though they wanted to play basketball. So this must not be done. Same way in a society there are also also majority and minority groups. There are certain groups who are more in number and are in majority and are more powerful as compared to other groups who are lesser in number, are in minority and are less powerful. So another important function that a constitution plays in a democracy is that the constitution ensures that a dominant group does not use its power against other less powerful people or groups. So the majority should not exclude the interest of the minorities. There should not be the tyranny of majority. यहाँ तक कि कभी कोई भले ही कोई डेमोक्रेटिक भी है कंट्री तब भी देयर आर चांसेस ऑफ टायरानी ऑफ मेजॉरिटी कि हो सकता है मेजॉरिटी अपनी विल को इम्पोज करने की कोशिश करे माइनॉरिटी के ऊपर. तो इसके अगेंस्ट भी जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है वो एक सेफ गार्ड प्रोवाइड करता है माइनॉरिटीज़ को. कुछ ऐसे रूल्स जो हैं वो ले डाउन किए जाते हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जिससे कि जो माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी है जो लेस पावरफुल सेक्शन है सोसाइटी का उसको भी उसके राइट्स मिलें. ऐसा ना हो कि उसको ज़बरदस्ती मेजॉरिटी की विल को एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ रहा हो. Another reason due to which we need a constitution is that sometimes we need to save us from ourselves. अब ये अजीब सी बात लगेगी सुनने में कि इसका क्या मतलब हुआ कि हमें अपने आप को ही खुद से बचाने की ज़रूरत है. सो देयर आर टाइम्स वी माइट फील स्ट्रांगली अबाउट एन इशू बट इन द लॉन्ग रन इट माइट गो अगेंस्ट आर लार्जर इंटरेस्ट. लुक एट द स्टोरी ऑफ शबनम to understand this point better, that how we need to save us from ourselves. So Shabnam is a student. She is in a fix. That means she is in a state of confusion because she has a decision to make. Her exams are going on and she still had 2 chapters left to revise for tomorrow's test. But it's time for her favorite TV program and she was dying to watch it. She was thinking, but if I do that, I won't have time to finish my revision. Shabnam's mother asked her, Shabnam, why are you looking so worried? To this, Shabnam replies, I want to watch this TV program, but I have a test tomorrow. If you all watch TV, I will also want to watch. I have an idea. What if no one watches TV tonight? Then I may not be tempted. तो शबनम जो है जब उसकी मदर पूछती हैं कि वो क्यों इतनी परेशान लग रही है, टू दिस शी रिप्लाइज़ कि उसको ये टीवी प्रोग्राम देखने का बहुत मन है बट बिकॉज शी हैज़ अ टेस्ट टुमारो. तो शी गिव्स देम एन आइडिया कि क्या हो अगर इस रात कोई भी टीवी ना देखे, इससे उसको टेम्पटेशन भी नहीं होगी टीवी देखने की. Next day, Shabnam was happy in the examination hall and was thinking, it's a good thing I did not watch TV. There are so many questions from the last 2 chapters. So she was happy that she made a decision and she went against her wish to watch TV because there were so many questions that came in her exam from the last 2 chapters. Similarly, in society also there are times when because of certain reasons at times we might feel tempted to take decisions that in long run will have adverse effect on ourselves only. For example, it might be possible that many people who live in a democracy might feel strongly that politics has become so dirty and there are so many corruption scandals and all these things. So they might feel that we need a strong dictator to set this right. But अगर ऐसा हो जाता है अल्टीमेटली इन द लॉन्ग रन हमारा ही नुकसान, क्योंकि अगर डिक्टेटरशिप इस्टेब्लिश हो जाती है डेमोक्रेसी को हटा के, तो फिर लॉन्ग रन में डिक्टेटरशिप वाला जो रूल होता है उसमें तो हम अपने इंटरेस्ट के हिसाब से कुछ नहीं कर सकते। डिक्टेटरशिप मीन्स कि किसी एक ही इंसान का रूल, उसी की विम्स एंड फैंसीज के हिसाब से सब कुछ होगा। सो अल्टीमेटली ये हमारा ही नुकसान है। सो अ गुड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डज नॉट अलाउ these whims to change its basic structure.